Good morning. I'm Bjorn Ovick, head of Fintech at Skyflow. Today I'm joined by Abhishek, who runs Fintech solution architecture. Today we're excited to share Skyflow's LLM data privacy solution, which is an extension of Skyflow's Data Privacy Vault. This solution is designed specifically to keep your sensitive data secure while working with any LLM and GenAI platform. We do this by deploying sophisticated de-identification techniques while working in training any model, as well as using and prompting those models. What we do also is keep that data so you can still understand it and the content stays relevant. Not only does this help you comply with all the various data privacy regulations, such as GDPR, CPRA, and PCI, it also firmly anchors privacy as a key pillar of your responsible GenAI strategy. So enough about that, let's dig into the demo. So Abhishek, I'm launching a banking chatbot as a financial advisor. My compliance team has a lot of concerns about privacy, security, and confidentiality. We've all read the headlines about GenAI answering questions that it shouldn't. How does Skyflow help solve this?
Bjorn, your compliance team is rightfully concerned. Now, Skyflow's LLM Data Privacy Vault solution has a set of powerful APIs for all these different use cases that you see on the screen. So let's take a look at what we're going to use. For this specific use case, we're going to use Skyflow's Guardrails API. So Guardrails allows organizations to define a set of rules that govern the interaction between a new or prospective or existing customer and an interface like the one we're seeing on the screen that is powered by GenAI and large language models. So what we're looking at is a customer logged into the web experience of Finovate Bank, and this is powered by the SkyflowGPT customer bot. On the left, we're looking at the conversation, and on the right, we'll look at how this bot application is working with the Skyflow and the large language model to help respond to this customer. So we're looking at this customer asking for investment advice. The bot asks what type of options they're looking at. And in this case, the customer is asking for stock advice. So let's see what happens when we click this. When we click this, this bot is actually calling the Skyflow Guardrails API. And there's a rule that says you cannot advise on stock. So it takes that rule, processes a response, and says, hey, are you interested in any other options? So that's how we can prevent not just stock options, but any other topics or any other important sensitive data that we want to control within the organization.
Great. Now, the other concern the compliance team has is about sending my customer sensitive data into these platforms, such as first name, account numbers, and so on. How does Skyflow help with that?
Yeah, that's actually a concern that a lot of our existing customers and new prospective customers come to us with. They don't want to send sensitive data of any sort, names, bank account numbers, locations, et cetera, to an LLM, and also be able to still remain context and provide a good experience. For this, we'll use Skyflow's Detect API. Detect can identify sensitive data within a blob of text or a file or an audio file and de-identify that data, and if required, re-identify that data as well, and we see what I mean by that. So when I click send, this bot is verifying the user's identity, and when that's done, we hit continue. The bot is actually engineering a prompt, which means it's accessing all the internal systems because this is an existing customer and generating a prompt. And this is the prompt that it comes up with. It has details about who the customer is, their account number, their bank balances, historical bank balances, and some of the rules that the LLM can use to recommend a product. This is obviously an oversimplified example. But this is not what we want to send to the LLM. That's the next step that this bot is going to take. So we run this by the Skyflow Detect API and de-identify all the data that is sensitive. So in this case, this is what is actually being sent to the bot. So we have identified the name, a location, a bank account number, so on and so forth. We can de-identify a lot more information. For this demo, this is what we'll go with. So let's see what the bot or the LLM comes back with. So this is the response that we actually show to the customer. But you'll notice John's name in here, but we never actually sent this name to the LLM. So how does this know? Well, the LLM sent this back to us, where it says for name given 1, and it uses it again. If there were any other locations, it will use that as well. We then call Skyflow's re-identify API, and because we're aware of what we actually de-identified initially in our secure environment, we can enrich this response and replace all the names without this ever going to the LLM. So John still sees his name pop up.
That's great. Now, the last question I have is, it'd be great to share this information with my bankers. How do I do that, but also keep my customers' data and privacy intact?
Yeah, and that's, I think, another use case that comes up a lot. Now, Skyflow is truly differentiated here because not only can we de-identify this data, but when we enrich this data or re-identify the data like we just did, Skyflow's governance engine can control how this data is actually presented to the end user. So let's switch to another use case. In this case, now we're looking at an employee bot. So this is a sales or marketing person asking for a list of top 5 customers, potentially from hundreds of thousands of customers that have visited the website, and we have statistics on them on how they visited. We'll follow some of the same process. We'll run this through Guardrails, run this through Detect to de-identify the data and re-identify the data, but we'll notice a little bit of a difference. Let's quickly take a look. And so now we're sending this request. It goes by, this is what it puts together. We're not sending a table, it's just easier to look at. But this is what we actually send. We only send stats, everything else is de-identified. And let's take a look at the response. This is the response that we get. This was the actual response from the LLM, and we re-identify that data. But then we are actually, if you look, notice there's a full account number, and what we're presenting is a masked account number, but the sales and marketing team are not allowed to see based on our Skyflow governance rules. So that's how we save the day.
That's great. Well, today we showed the Skyflow LLM data privacy solution. Please stop by our booth to talk about your Gen AI strategy and how we can support that. Thank you.